Hello, you beautiful human being, you. So in today's video, I am going to be sharing why I think you should create an anti-vision for your life instead of a vision for your life. And actually for me, it was by having an anti-vision, a very clear vision of what I didn't want my life to look like, which is why I've now been able to create a life that I love. Now, if you are new to the channel, my name is George and I am a digital nomad living here in Bangkok, Thailand. I live a beautiful life. I live in a beautiful country. I live in a crazy, crazy city. I go to beaches and jungles and mountains all of the time. I eat great food. I live in a hot climate. I live in a beautiful building with a gym and a swimming pool. I earn great money. I earn a full-time Western income, working part-time hours, living in Southeast Asia. I am extremely grateful for the life that I live, but it wasn't always this way. You see, just a few short years ago, I was in £25,000 worth of debt. I had a 248 credit score and I was paying back £1 a month on a debt repayment scheme. I earned minimum wage, I was doing jobs I absolutely hated, and I was sleeping on couches and sleeping in my car. And this was one that I got very, very clear on what I did not want my life and my future to look like. And this anti-vision, this vision for a future I did not want, was a huge catalyst for my own personal transformation. And it was my personal transformation which led to a transformation in my life. I remember just a few years ago when I used to live in the UK, I would be absolutely terrified. I would walk past the same pub every single day in Northwood Hills High Street. It was a Wetherspoons, and I would be terrified that in 50 years time I'd be one of the old boys sitting at that pub counting my change, getting a beer, and that was going to be the highlight of my life. And that absolutely terrified me. It scared the shit out of me, and I ended up getting super clear on what I did not want my life to look like. I didn't want a life where I was stuck in the same several square mile radius that I've lived all my life. I didn't want to be broke. I didn't want to have an adventureless life where I didn't experience new things and see new places. And this was when the idea of an anti-vision really started to get crystal clear. So what I want to do now is get really crystal clear on what an anti-vision is and why I think having an anti-vision and not a vision, why I think it could be a catalyst for the transformation in your life. You see, I believe one of the most effective ways to define a life that you love is first to define a life that you hate. I now see, when looking back, that it was the fear of a bad life and not the allure and desire of a good life which actually drove me to make the changes in my own life. Wake up, rush breakfast whilst watching some crap TV, scrape the ice off the windshield of my car, drive for 45 minutes sitting in traffic in an old banged up car, get to work precisely 1 minute before start time, look forward to my strategically timed poo, doing just enough work not to get fired, and leaving at 1 minute past my finish time, driving to the gym, having a workout, driving home in my banged up car, eating, watching Netflix, sleeping, and repeating this every single day. And this wasn't a life that I was scared to live. This was actually my life. I used to walk past the same Wetherspoon pub in Northwood Hills, and I'd see the old boys sitting in the pub, and I was terrified that one day that'd be me. That in 30, 40, 50 years, I would be in the same pub a mile and a half down the road from my house, having never ventured out and seen the world. The pain of my future regret outweighed my present state of optimism. Optimism is a gift bestowed to us. And for many of us, our limiting beliefs shield the light of optimism from our awareness. We then dare to dream. And for many of us, we need to start with the weight of our pain as the resistant force to build the strength needed to make the change in our lives. See, a harsh and yet honest truth, and I had to come to terms with, was that we are exactly where we deserve to be. But somewhat paradoxically, we are at all times doing the very best that we can. If any of us were capable of doing more, we would be doing more. We are at all times reaching our present state full potential. And the only way to have more and to live more is to become more. So in order for our lives to be different, we need to be different. For our lives to get better, we need to get better. We are at all times in the process of becoming, but encapsulated in the process of becoming is the ongoing moment-to-moment state of being. And it is in those moments, quite frankly, we can be disappointed with who we are. And for me, this was the real fear, right? When we cut behind it all, this was the absolute real fear. And that it wasn't the fear of living a life I hated or unlived, it was becoming a person I hated. The fear of disliking the person I could become is what drove me to become the person I am in the process of becoming. We have what we have, and not wanting what we have can sometimes be all we know. We do not know when we start out what it's going to be like to wake up in a tropical climate and go to the beach and sit on a beachfront coffee shop or restaurant and get our laptop out, order an iced latte with a fresh coconut, sit doing work we love whilst occasionally raising our eyes from the screen to take in the beautiful nature around us, right? Before we've done that, we don't know what it's like. But what we do know is what we hate. And we know what we hate because we can have that in our lives at that moment. I know for me, I hated long, miserable, cold winters. I hated doing a soul-sucking job which robbed all the meaning and excitement out of my life. We know that we can hate not being able to provide for ourselves and our loved ones adequately. And we can harness the dislike of our present situation to propel us forward to a better life. As you expand your awareness, you come to see that humans and ourselves are but a repeating processes and behavioral patterns which repeat in varying time windows. Sometimes we repeat patterns every hour, sometimes it's daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, and so on. Our heart beats every second. You take a dump every day. You shave your beard every week, you get your hair cut every month, and every 7 years you replenish your cells. We are but a series of subconscious and consciously repeating patterns, repeating themselves again and again and again. We are what we repeatedly do, and our life is a result of what we repeatedly do. But what we repeatedly do is a reflection of who we are. It is intimately intertwined, and growth comes through this complexity, not despite of it. We cannot escape who we are, but we can change who we are. And by changing who we are, we can change what we do. And by changing what we do, we can change our life situation. And when we change our life situation, we change who we are. The Buddha taught us that life is suffering. Pain is temporary, but pain can also be harnessed, and we can use this pain to make progress. Fear, when refined, can be the sharpest of blades to slice through your self-fabricated cage of delusion that your sense of self exists within. It's easier to simply distract ourselves with social media than to sit with the pain of our present situation. But pain is neither a blessing nor a curse. Pain just is. Fear drives us towards confidence. Insecurity drives us towards security. And in rare moments where we do make accelerated progress, we do eventually end up regressing to the mean of the standards we are willing to accept for ourselves. It is our life's work to break through these self-imposed barriers to reach the greatest heights of our own potential. In order for life to change, we must change. And in order to get there, often it can start with where we are right now. It's okay to get angry at life, but not resentful. You can get angry at your life situation, but still be grateful. You can be disappointed in yourself, but be loving. There is a space in which you feel the pain of your past actions and the disappointment in yourself, as well as the excitement of what life will bring. And be proud that you're now the person who uses this pain that you feel of your current situation as fuel for your change. And so, you see, I believe that it's far easier to create an anti-vision, to get clear on what you do not want for your future. For me, this anti-vision was going to the same Wetherspoons pub, counting my pennies, enough to afford a couple of beers, lonely, depressed, angry, insecure, jealous, having never seen the world, and regretting never truly lived my life. And this anti-vision, it was this fear of this unlived life, and this fear of hating myself and becoming this person who never truly tapped into their potential and never truly lived life. This was what really spurred me on to make the changes in my life. And don't get me wrong, I do think we need a vision for our lives, but I think it can be more useful to start with an anti-vision. By defining what you don't want, you can more easily define what you do want. And by defining who you don't want to be, what the anti-vision for yourself is, it becomes clearer to define who you do want to be. as I said, from my own personal experience, it was this fear that as I look back now, it was an anti-vision. I did not want to be this person, and I did not want to be in this place. And once I really felt that deeply, deeply felt that, then and only then did I start to look at having a better vision for my life. And then I started looking at educating myself, reading. I discovered the idea about dreamlining, where I could start to actually get clear on exactly what I wanted for my life. Who did I want to be? Where did I want to go? What did I want to own? What did I want to do? And breaking that down into monthly TMIs, target monthly incomes that would allow me to travel the world and do things I love with people I love and live a beautiful life. And don't get me wrong, these visions and these exercises like TMIs are wildly useful, and they are absolutely life-changing. But by starting with an anti-vision, by looking at your life situation right now and saying, I'm not happy with this, I'm not happy with where I am right now, I don't like sitting in traffic every day or getting on the train for an hour and wasting my time commuting. I hate going to work and getting up at 6 in the morning and traveling in the cold. I hate putting on dirty clothes and working on building sites. I hate having £16 left in the bank account at the end of every month. I hate only being able to go on a 1-week holiday a year, no further than to afford to Turkey or Greece, or a cheap holiday to Spain or Lanzarote or something, and you want to go further. It is okay to not want these things and to want more for your life. And if there's one thing that you take from this video, or at least one thing I'm taking away from this video after having sat and reflected on my journey, is that it starts with deciding what you don't want. And by getting clear on what you don't want, your anti-vision for your future and for yourself and your identity, then you can create the vision for your future and for your future self. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you made it this far, well done, well done. You are one of the few, around the 10 to 15% that make it all the way through these videos. So give yourself a pat on the back, because you are one of the special few that is investing your time and energy into actually changing your life. I just want to end this video with 2 small things. One, every Tuesday I send out a weekly newsletter called Trippy Tuesdays, where I share actionable specific things that you can do to make money online, so you yourself become a digital nomad and travel the world. So if you yourself have aspirations to change your life, make money online and travel the world, why don't you scan the QR code that's on the screen right now if you are watching on TV, or click the link in the pinned comment or description below this video if you are on mobile, enter your details and sign up to my newsletter. And once you've done that, why don't you watch the next video that's suggested on the screen right now, because we touched on some similar stuff to this, and yeah, I think you might get a ton of value out of that as well. But thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your valuable time, and peace.